You're listening to Rebel Spirituality with me, Sam Goldfinch. Here's the truth. Wisdom doesn't follow rules. So each week we're going to explore what it means to wake up your way so you can live a more peaceful, creative and inspired life no matter your circumstances. It's time to blaze your unique path to truth. So we're going to talk about forgiveness this week, one and all. But just before we do, I just want to say thank you so much for all the love and support that came in about the mystery school. We've sold out this round for September. But if you'd like to get on the wait list for the next school, which will be in the new year, likely in February, I'll put a link in the show notes so that you can do that. If you're going to be part of the school, I just can't wait to get us all together. It's such a beautiful experience to have together. So I'll see you all there. Okay, that's it from me. I hope you have an amazing day, week, all that stuff. I'm just going to hand you over to me. Let's talk about forgiveness. Hey team. Okay, let's talk about forgiving others for a minute, because I think this is a really big topic, particularly for those of us who have been through hardship. We've had some difficult times in our lives, and perhaps there are some people in our lives who have done things that have felt unforgivable. And we have been trying to figure out how to release things or let things go because we don't want to carry them anymore. One thing that I always used to think about forgiveness was that it was transactional, in the sense that in order to forgive myself or in order to forgive somebody else, I would have to make amends for what it was that I'd done, or they would have to, and we'd have to get to a point of resolution and, forgive each other, and then things would be settled. But life doesn't always work like that. Sometimes we fall out of contact with people, we can't talk to people, and we feel like we're carrying around this non-forgiveness with us. And there's two parts of us. There's the part of us that feels like if we were to forgive this person, then maybe we'd be condoning their behavior, right? Or letting them off the hook. So there's that part of us. And then there's the part of us that can kind of see, I don't want to hold this anymore. This isn't a nice thing to carry. It's heavy. It's a heavy, heavy weight. And, there's that. I think it's the Buddha that's kind of famed for saying, anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. And forgiveness is kind of like this, right? When we're in innocent non-forgiveness, we carry the weight of that. Life works from the inside out. Our feelings are coming from within us. They're not coming from out there. They're not coming from what people have done to us. They're not coming from any of those spaces. It's coming from within. So we're carrying it, and we don't have to do that. Now, there's another part of us, I think, that fears that if we were to just drop it, if we were to just let it go, right, then maybe we'd become a doormat. Doesn't that mean that people are going to take the piss out of us, or, they're going to repeat the same behavior and we're going to let them walk all over us? We become a doormat, right? But that's not it either. Forgiving and letting go, perhaps we need a different word, but just putting all of that stuff down and giving ourselves the gift. It doesn't mean that. We can still have healthy boundaries. If anything, if we've been hit, if we've been punched, we don't have to stand there and continue to get punched. Putting something down, forgiving something, doesn't mean that we have to have someone in our life. It doesn't mean that we have to stay in connection with them. Maybe we aren't in connection with them, actually. It's something that we do for ourselves, and then it allows us to just live this beautiful experience, right, of life. And this is true for us too. If we've been in a state of non-forgiveness for ourselves, perhaps we're worried that we'll repeat the behavior. This could be unconscious or conscious, right? We're punishing ourselves, thinking if we punish ourselves for long enough, then we wouldn't do that thing. But it isn't nice to carry that around with us. And very often we want to kind of like not feel those feelings. And so we act out in ways that don't feel congruent with who we are. So the thing that is at the heart of this, the thing for me that's at the heart of forgiveness, is that we're all doing what makes sense to us with our current level of understanding. That's been true for you your whole life. That's true for everybody that you've ever come into contact with and anybody that you ever will come into contact with. Now, that doesn't mean that if it's making sense for somebody to come at you and, throw punches at you, that you have to stand there and take them. But it does open up this possibility of compassion, where we can see that person, with the level of understanding they have, what is making sense to them is what is making sense to them. And as I say, that doesn't mean we have to become a doormat, but we don't have to carry all of that anymore. And you can also know this. You can know that whatever it is that we put into the world comes back one way or another, right? we're just not powerful enough to determine when somebody will or won't learn a lesson that they're meant to learn, or even if it's a lesson that they're meant to learn, right? But we can put down the heavy thinking that's been weighing on us, walk into a new world, and trust that everybody is on their own path for the reason that they are. So maybe there's a part of you that's tuned into this that still feels like it's, but what about this, but what about that? But the question is, how long are we going to carry this non-forgiveness for? How long are you going to carry non-resistance for? It's been one of the greatest gifts of my life to drop all of that. We only have now, we only have here. And the more we carry around things that happened in the past, as if they're happening now, the more non-resistance we feel, and we don't have to do that anymore. And this isn't something that you, the personal you, the Sam, it's not something that Sam's going to do. It's a truth that I'm going to hear, that you will hear in your heart, and that will open up a new opportunity for you as you see that forgiveness isn't a transaction. It's about understanding. It's about understanding that we're all doing the best that we can with the thinking that we have. It's about understanding that it's not about letting people off the hook or becoming some kind of pushover. It's much more beautiful than that, and it sets us free from carrying all those things around with us. I hope you have the most amazing day, week. I'll talk to you all soon.